Hello everybody, my name is Brandon from thestockstudents.com, and today I want to talk about NIO stock, ticker symbol NIO. What I want to do first is go into Google and try and explain why I think the information released on NIO Day will impact the stock valuation and the stock price. And then I want to go into the earnings report to see how the subscription-based model that they released will impact the company's fundamentals and see how it will affect the company's valuation. And then I want to go into the trading charts to see if there's a level or two to buy NIO if we want to buy NIO. So now let's get started. So quickly before we get started here, if you want 4 free stocks from Webull, there's a link down below in the description. So all of the affiliate revenue that we would gain will be reinvested directly into the channel and the website. And the first thing that we would get is a microphone so that my audio quality gets out of the dumpster. So with that out of the way, let's move on into NIO stock and the content of this episode. So here we are in Google, and as we can see, if we scroll down here, all the news is about NIO Day. And that's for good reason. Honestly, a large part of NIO stock is hinged on excitement around EVs and NIO's company itself. And that excitement is exactly what we got on NIO's Day. By exciting the fan base ultimately bids up the stock. But that's just market psychology. Even though I think this excitement is why we climbed the ladder around 20% in about a week, I just want to get to the actual substance of NIO Day and see how that news that they released impacts the stock price and valuation of NIO. So first things first, I'll say that NIO really beat on every expectation that was in front of them, especially in their battery technology. I'll throw up a screenshot here of this Motley article showing that NIO has now claimed that the battery can outlast Tesla's battery and has beat analyst expectations. So NIO has now claimed that the battery has a range of 621 miles under optimal conditions. This alone beat analyst expectations, like I said, and is drumming up a lot of excitement. The point I want to make in this section is that if there were questions on NIO's ability to perform against Tesla, a beat against Tesla's battery technology is definitely quieting skeptics and is giving NIO increased validity here. This alone may not fundamentally change the valuation of NIO because it's not really impacting the actual revenue or margins or costs or anything, but what it does do is that it shows that NIO has a good product. So this is kind of like a derivative play here. So the line of thought is that the better product will lead to more sales, which could then directly impact stock price and valuation. And for NIO's case, this derivative gives the stock upside potential. The next thing I want to talk about before going into NIO's auto driving subscription plan is to talk about the price of the ET7 vehicle, which is their new sedan. I do have a little concern about the price of NIO's new sedan, which is priced at 448,000 RMB or about 69,000 USD. This is compared to Tesla's China-made Model Y, which is priced at 339,000 RMB or about 52,000 USD. So these prices here are before any government subsidies, so this analysis depends on if and how much the subsidies there would be. My point in this part of the video is, why is NIO sedan worth the extra penny here? You could say it's because of the longer range battery, and I would agree, but I'm not sure if it's worth an extra 17,000 USD. This being said, I actually think that NIO is quite smart here pricing above Tesla. I believe that they wanted to attack the high-end market, which may lead to higher margins. The risk here, however, is if the Chinese consumer doesn't think the ET7 is worth the price, or if they believe that the Tesla brand is better. This would directly impact the fundamentals of NIO's company because then it would be loss of sales, thereby hurting NIO stock. Now I want to talk about NIO's auto driving subscription plan and how that could directly affect the fundamentals of the company here. For that, we're going to need to do some math, and I hate to bring up math here, but I think that this is a good exercise to learn how to evaluate a company. So as we can see here in the CNBC article, NIO is planning to charge 680 RMB a month for auto driving capabilities. Let's head on over to the most recent earnings report here to see how that impacts the fundamentals of the business. So here we are in the most recent earnings report here, and I'll start off by saying that my math will be based on assumptions just to get a rough picture on how this subscription plan will affect the fundamental valuation of NIO. Again, I want to emphasize that this is just a rough estimation, and I'm trying to give NIO the best and most lenient conditions. So first, let's use this delivery number that we got from the most recent quarter, which is 12,000 deliveries. Let's say that all of these 12,000 cars get the self-driving subscription and they have to pay 680 RMB per month. Now, I know that not all of these cars will get the self-driving subscription, but remember, these are just assumptions to give NIO the best possible benefits here. So to get the revenues that NIO will gain in a quarter from the subscriptions will be 12,000 cars times 680 RMB per month times 3 months per financial quarter, and that should give you 24,500,000 RMB per financial quarter, and let's call that 25 million RMB. Again, these assumptions are made to give NIO the best possible case. Let's compare this to the total revenues that NIO made from the recent quarter here. So if we scroll down, we can see that their most recent quarter, they were able to lock in 4,526 million RMB, or 4.5 billion with a B RMB. So let's say that the subscription revenue is added onto the total revenues, because that is part of the total revenues. So that would be 4,526 million RMB plus 25 million RMB from the subscription revenue, which equals 4,551 million RMB. So using that 4,551 million RMB number, now we can see how the incorporation of the subscription revenues will affect the fundamental valuation as a percent. So to do that math, we do 25 million RMB, which is the subscription revenue, divided by 4,551 million RMB, which is the total revenues accounted with the subscription revenue, times 100 to get the percent, and that equals a whopping 0.5%. So as you can see, even with the best case scenario that all cars signed up for the 680 RMB per month subscription, the impact on gross revenues is just a teeny tiny 0.5%, which is basically just a rounding error for the company. I will note, however, that subscriptions is a really high margin sale for the business. So, this is like a free 0.5% increase in the gross quarter profit every quarter. So, in my opinion, using the assumptions to give NIO the best possible case scenario, the subscription revenues should really not have a huge effect on the stock price or the valuation of NIO, but it is a nice source of free cash flow for the company. Again, play around with the variables here, try to think of how you would make your assumptions, and let me know in the comments below what you think the impact of this subscription revenue will be. So while we're here on the balance sheet, I just also want to create a couple more notes about NIO that sets us up to talk about if we want to invest in NIO. So as you can see here, even though the revenues and margins are growing fantastically year over year, we are still operating at a net loss here. However, I will note that we are lowering that net loss, which is something I want to see if I'm an investor in NIO. Also, something I want to note is that we actually turned profitable on our core business here year over year. As you can see, the gross profit here is a positive 585 million RMB, while last year we were losing 221 million RMB. Now, I know I've said this before, but the efficiencies of these Chinese EV companies is really astounding and is really what I want to see if I wanted to invest in NIO. So again, the point I want to make here, even though we are slowing our net loss, it is still a net loss. And this is something you have to consider with NIO. But, because our revenues are growing quite nicely, so if the money that's coming into the business keeps increasing, then, we should hit profitability, and I'm not concerned about, NIO at the moment. Now, how about we move on to the trading charts here to see if there's a place to buy NIO if we want to buy NIO. So here we are in NIO's trading charts, and as we can see, for the past few months, NIO has been really climbing the mountain upwards, and these past few days, NIO has also been hiking upwards too, because of anticipation of NIO Day. I think that if we see another strong close today or tomorrow above this $58, $57 level, then I would say that we officially broke out of this $42, $56, $57 range, and that is a pretty bullish sign. I think that if it comes back down to this resistance/support level of $56, $57, then that is one potential place you could step in if you want, but to me that seems a little risky because it looks like a weak support level to me. I see stronger support around this $46, $47, $48 level here, and as well as this $38, $39 level here. Another thing I want to talk about here is this 50-day moving average, which is this blue line here. As we can see, once we hit this line or get close to it, we like to run straight upwards. We get close to this line here, and then we have a nice little run. We get close to this line here, and then we have a nice little run. So I think the 50-day is a good spot to step in if you like NIO stock. But again, as always, remember that these are just technical indicators and they are not rooted in hard science, and they should not be taken as hard science. So to cover the other major indicators here is the MACD. So that is a measure of momentum, and as we can see here, if we zoom in, our MACD is firmly in the positive. Our blue line, which is the measure of short-term momentum, is stronger than our orange line here, which is a measure of long-term momentum. And this is normally a bullish sign for the stock. If we zoom back out here, we see that our RSI is actually telling us something useful for once. We can see that our RSI is just about to peak over the 70 level. And this is indicating that we are getting pretty close to overbought territory. This is normally bearish because it indicates a sort of buying frenzy, and that oftentimes leads to a little correction. As we can see here, the last time we were overbought was around this spot here, and if we look at the stock chart to see the correlation, we see that once it was overbought here, it was at a high, and then we had a nice correction downwards, which is also reflected in the RSI here. Again, I put more of my weight in stock levels because that actually shows the equilibrium between buyers and sellers. So if NIO comes down to this $47, $48 level here, I might take a little step in if I want to start a position in NIO. But again, with NIO, you have to consider geopolitical and volatility risks, and you also have to consider valuation risks. However, long term, I do believe that NIO is in a great position at the moment to accelerate growth for years to come. So that was my review on NIO stock. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments section down below. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any companies that you would want me to cover, also leave me a comment down below. If you like the video, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.